All right, so I'm going to be making videos the rest of the day. I'm making videos today. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to make videos from now until, I go to bed, but I might pop up at any moment. Anyway, I want to get into another subject. I actually changed the title for a reason. On my most recent live stream, I dealt with this tweet by Matt Walsh. And I pointed out that I believe that this was really intended towards Black Americans. Why do I believe that? He said, this Thanksgiving, be thankful for the settlers who conquered this land. Be proud of your history and heritage. And I said, I believe that he's talking about Black Americans. Now, in this video, he's going through the motions. He's just talking. He's just elaborating. But I believe this is directed towards Black. What I believe he's actually saying is, be thankful that your ancestors enslaved Black Americans. Because there's nothing else to be proud of that your ancestors did. This country would be nothing had your ancestors only conquered the land. Had they simply taken the land and not enslaved Black Americans, there would be no America to be proud of. You're talking about being proud of your history and heritage, and you're talking about this land. You're proud to be an American. You're proud to live in America. You're only proud to be here because Black Americans built it. Understand, the first European settlers, it was the first two. They tried to colonize America without enslaving Black people and failed. They only succeeded when they enslaved the native Black people, because we knew this land. That's why we were root workers. We knew this land through and through. We didn't come over from no Africa and just learn this land. We knew it. So he's actually talking about that. He's telling other white people to be proud of the fact that Black Americans were enslaved for as long as we were, and that their ancestors economically deprived and robbed Black Americans for an additional 100 years, at least on the books. Okay, so a lot of code language that these people use. They speak using a lot of coded language. Again, I do not believe he's talking about just be proud that we took the land. You wouldn't have nothing to be proud of had your ancestors not enslaved Black Americans. That is what made this country what it is. And nothing else. The fact that it was labor that your ancestors never paid for. How you rob somebody for the entire day? Rob people every day of their flipping life? From sun up to sundown, you rob people on individual levels? Look at the profit. Look at how much you benefited. Just compare some of the photos of early America to America after slavery. And the money, even after slavery was over, that was still slave-generated wealth. Look, just Black American just won't stop trending. Crazy. So it's Black Americans. You're talking about Black Americans. You're proud. Yeah, be proud that you enslaved them. We know your code talk and your code language. But I pointed out how it's pathetic that the element of his history that he's most proud of it involves the destruction of other people. That's pathetic. Like, you're genuinely, you're not more proud of anything else that they did, obviously, or else you'd name that. If they did something that you're more proud of, you'd name it. You wouldn't have named this. That's pathetic. None of your ancestors' ideas are you more thankful for. They didn't, even if they did it, you don't even know if they invented it. So you can't name nothing. You can't even say, yo, long ago, this person invented this. When y'all made a law for black people to not get a patent, that law was put in place for a reason. This was why black people were enslaved. Why would you create a law that slaves are not allowed to have a patent? Because you knew they would be inventing things. So you can't even point toward an invention. So that's pathetic. You could have at least tried by pointing to an invention, something that wouldn't be taken as offensive. But what he wanted to do on Thanksgiving Day was take a swipe at black Americans. He got up with vitriol in his heart, and he got applauded for it. Like, who in the world has black Americans on their mind, and then so cowardly that you can't even say it directly? You're not proud that they took over this land. Land is nothing if it's not built up. You're proud of the built up America, the developed America, not the bare ground. So that was pathetic. And I believe it should have been done differently. And I'm going to give an example and share why I'm proud. Why I'm not proud, thankful. Not proud, thankful. I'm thankful to be a foundational black American. See, it's that easy. It's that easy. And you don't have to be offensive to. It's almost like these people, they don't know how to not offend people. And then they turn around and call us sensitive. No, you're just disrespectful. And it's like they don't know how to not be disrespectful. Crazy dynamic. It's like people who don't know how to behave like normal, evolved people. My goodness. So it's easy. Why am I thankful that I'm a black American? Why am I thankful to be black American? It's a good question. It is because I believe black Americans have immortalized themselves. I'm as crazy as so many black Americans are, and I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed with black Americans for not realizing their greatness. I just want to yoke them all up by the collar and shake them. It's very disappointing and embarrassing and shameful to see how nutty we are today. Completely out of our minds. However, all that in mind, black Americans have immortalized themselves. And I suspect that that's why there are powerful people in this world trying to drive us into extinction, but don't want to do it overtly. They want to make it look like we did it all to ourselves, even though they're completely controlling our most influential icons like puppets for a reason. Now, I want to show y'all something. I want to show y'all something, and I want to let y'all hear something. Okay, I want to show you something and let you hear something. And I'm sure many of you have seen stuff like this, so bear with me. Okay, you're going to hear some music now. You're going to hear a little bit of music. Okay? Our brethren in Africa and all over the world quite often will say, hey, you black Americans have no culture. You have no culture. You're black American. You have no culture. Where's your culture? What are you proud of? People talk about black Americans as if we should be ashamed to be black Americans. You should be ashamed. Your ancestors were slaves. You were slaves. You're slaves. You're ashamed. You have no culture. And then they'll point to stuff like this and say, this is culture. Huh? This is culture. Okay? They'll say that's culture. That's cultural music. Now, maybe this music right here, it might be thousands of years old. This music that they're playing, it might be thousands of years old. A lot of the village Africans, they've held on to things for thousands of years. Over there in the villages over there in Africa. Thousands and thousands of years, man. And I'm talking tens of thousands. Tens of thousands. And these are the type of things they talk about when they talk about culture. They're talking about the things that they've held on to for 10, 20, 30, 50,000 years. Yes, many of them in those villages held on to an endless number of things for several thousands of years. One of them being possibly, I don't know for sure, but possibly is their music. They passed down the knowledge of how to play the songs, how to sing the songs, what to say, how to beat the drum and all that. The thing is, the difference is, you can't play that in no club. That don't sound like our music. That really don't motivate me. I don't care how old it is. I'm telling you now, 10, 20,000 years from now, you hear our black American music that we made. And I'm not talking about this demonic stuff. I'm talking about the genuine music from the 60s and 70s primarily. That's when we made the hands down the best music ever created, ever. We made some songs out through the 80s and 90s too, but it was here and there. It's too littered with Satanism and degeneracy. That music we created during the 60s and 70s, that music will fill people with energy forever. It will give you, listen, and I've heard other people talk about this. Prodigy from Mobb Deep talked about this as well. Sometimes when I hear music, when I hear a song that really hit me, I get goosebumps. Music is spiritual. It's extremely powerful. If I'm really feeling a song, when it first comes on, I will get chills, goosebumps. I'm dead serious. Prodigy said the same thing. You catch a chill when you hear the mob bang through your stereo. This music don't give nobody no chills. Ain't nobody bopping their head to this. I'm telling you now. 10, 20,000 years from now, people gonna hear our music and gonna start bopping their head. Who is this? What? Especially our party songs. Man, please. Nobody ever created music. We created the most incredible music ever, in my opinion. Now look, whatever you are, be proud of your cultural music. And maybe you feel like your music is the best ever as well. And you have the right to believe that. I'm not arguing with nobody who says that their music is the best music ever created. Good, and I'm happy that you believe that. But I'm saying, I'm pointing to the evidence. People feel our music. They feel our music. Sometimes it's more non-black Americans at these concerts than black Americans. Okay? And I'm talking about even long ago. What y'all talking about? Let me show y'all something else. Think I'm playing? You think I'm playing? Look at this. Now this was back in the 60s, huh? What was it? When did he perform? I think he did this in the, no, it wasn't the 60s. I think it was late 60s, early 70s. And I'm telling you, even back then, man, you look at the audience in a James Brown concert, it was full of white people. Look at that. Look at that. James Brown was doing soul music, funk music. This man was rhythmic. I'm pointing to the evidence. Black American music touched everybody. That's rare. If you bring in people from all over the world and you let them listen to that native African folk music that you just heard, all of those people are not going to feel that. You're not going to find people around it. They're not going to start moving and bopping and dancing. Their energy level's not going to increase. Black American music can increase your blood pressure. And everybody feel it. White people feel it. And draw it heavily. It's to the point now where they're trying to take it from us. Like, what the? This is incredible energy. Give it to us and drive the people who create it into extinction. That's why they're trying to create hip hop and rap on the computer and all this kind of stuff. Get AI to create it, but get rid of the people. That's what's happening. So everybody have always felt our music. Everybody. You go to China right now, you're going to find a hip hop community. They're going to be breakdancing and everything. You're going to find a hip hop. Go to Japan, you'll find the same thing. People feel our music. Now, y'all remember a little while ago, they talked about how Black American music outsold all other music genres everywhere and around the world. Even in other people's country, Black American music would outsell the native music. How small of a population, how small of a percentage do Black Americans make of the entire world? It has to be minuscule. It has to be minuscule. What is it, 1%? Do Black Americans even make up 1% of the planet? Yet, I'm telling you now, listen, you go back in those days, you go listen to music from Russia in the 1970s. 1970s Russian music? I don't know. Okay, we got we got disco, so they're emulating us. And Black Americans created disco. So we can't even find other people's natural music. And when this is very rife now. When you try to listen to other people's music, they've been listening to Black American music so much that most of their music is spin-offs of Black American music. Their version of rock, their version of rap, their version of this, their version of that. Even Black American music gave birth to heavy metal. It came out of blues. But ain't nothing like the authentic music. But when you look at music that was not influenced, let's see if we can find something here.
Владимир Мигуля, стихи Анатолия.
Земля в иллюминаторе, земля в иллюминаторе, Земля в иллюминаторе видна.
Hey, I don't even know about that. And I'm pretty sure this is a good song and all that. But it's not going to outsell our music in our country. You can put this music, other people's music in all these stores if you want to. It's not going to outsell our music, at least not in our country. Look at how influential Black Americans have been in music only, in music and dance. That's not even normal. It's not normal for such a small population of the planet to have that much influence in music. 'Cause I'm telling you now, it's hard to find other people who are just not touched at all by the music that has been created by Black Americans. For the most part, the musical age started with Black America. Do you understand? For the most part, other people had their little native songs. It didn't compare to what we created during our ethnogenesis. We had to restart our culture. So we had to create all new music from scratch. We lost knowledge of that music during the slavery period. We wasn't allowed to retain that. And as soon as we became able to create music again, we had to start all over. We don't remember the music that we had. And when we started over, our music didn't sound traumatized. It didn't sound like nothing coming from a traumatized people. That our music sounded godly. People looked at our music like crackheads look at crack. I got to have it. For the most part, the modern musical age started in the early 1900s. Late 1800s, early 1900s, with Black Americans. We influenced the world, and if we're driven into extinction, our influence is going to remain on this earth for tens of thousands of years. You think people going to stop producing rock and roll? They might have their own version. They might take some of the soul out, but it's still something we started. And I'm telling you now, some of those jams from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you could throw them on and people will be full of energy, dancing 10,000 years from now, 20,000 years from now. That's just how it is. And music is not influenced by outsiders. That's something that got to come from inside your spirit. When there's no blockades, nothing in front of us, and we could just express ourselves freely, we change the world. And I know people like to say, oh, you're arrogant sounding. No. You are free to talk about whatever you're proud of, your people too. I'm not going to object to that. And I don't care what you say. Some of you, listen, this is, and if people weren't so insecure, they realize that they can say the same things that I'm saying. Chinese people have changed the whole course of the world, have they not? Even if it's through their version of, kung fu or whatever, they've left their mark. Other people, however, in what other way you've left your mark, talk about that. You're not going to offend me. Anybody who object to hearing black people talk the way I am, it's because you're insecure. And you need to find yourself. You need to look at your own history and genuinely feel proud of things in your history just like we are. This ain't no game. You think I'm faking? You think this fake pride? You think I'm fake thankful? I don't even feel worthy, if you ask me. This is why I laugh at people who try to make black Americans feel ashamed to be black. Oh, you're a slave. Please, dude. The fact that our ancestors were enslaved makes it even more amazing. How are people going to come out of slavery and have that much influence on the whole planet? To the point where these top level execs had to have a meeting where they said to themselves, we must control black music. Top to bottom, it's far too influential. We have to completely control it. They understood the power we have. So influential, like they're going around seriously and genuinely telling white kids to try their best to sing and dance like the Negroes. That was rampant in the United States. You're not going to find no black people genuinely asking black kids to sing and dance like white people, like Chinese people, like Asian people. We're not going to tell our kids, seriously, genuinely tell them to do that, expecting to capitalize off making money and selling. No. Sing and dance and try to make your music sound like that. No, we wouldn't do that. They was doing it with us. And it wasn't just white Americans. It was doing it all over the planet. We have just had tremendous influence. That's our mark. That's the mark we've left on this earth. Unbelievable, like alien Martian-like influence. That's why I say black Americans are like aliens. They're like the aliens of the earth. As crazy as they are, you know, we got our deranged, we crazy, but we crazy just like everybody else. Everybody crazy. Everybody is a lunatic. I don't want to hear none of that. Don't talk to me about Chicago and look, shut up. Don't act like we can't find portions of your country rife with crime, drug addiction, and all that. People kill me trying to put themselves on a pedestal by pointing at the ghetto. Get out of here. As manufactured as the ghettos are in America, on top of that, when black Americans created their own communities, their own cities, that wasn't influenced by outsiders, they wasn't ridden with crime like that. Who tries to point the finger at nonsense like that anyways? No one, get out of here. So I'm thankful to be a part of that lineage right there. And to be honest with you, that influences my belief that we need to really chill and out on this black male versus black female war, gender war. Okay? Now, I've written whole gospels on the gender war, giving my take on it all. But to be honest, I'm far more thankful to be black American than I am heartbroken over black women. I'm more thankful to be a black bear. I'm more fascinated and taken back by our accomplishments than I am by how, destroyed black women are. I think, I'm not about to, fella, I'm gonna have to deal with that on a different live stream. Ultimately, you sound weak when you sit up and try to preach to other black men to not reproduce with black females. That makes you sound weak. I mean, what do you think your enemies say to each other when they hear you say that? We got them. Thank you. Right? Mission accomplished. That's what your enemies say. So what does that say about you? Doesn't that mean you're being weak too? You're too heartbroken and broken down. Oh, they're treasonous. Oh, they betrayed us. Oh, they hate us. Yeah, yes, black men. There's a percentage of black women who hate your guts to an extent that you don't hate theirs. Yes, that's true. That's all the bigger challenge for you. You got two choices. You can either work with them or self-exterminate yourself. Go get you somebody who's not black American. Simple as that. And if you don't want to date a black American woman, then you're not going to be able to sit up and talk about black women all day. What do you think a white woman going to think about that? An Asian woman, a Mexican woman. She sit up here you on YouTube all day, every day, complaining about black people. You're not going to be able to do that. So if you really dating these other women, you wouldn't be on YouTube crying about them all the time. So you don't have any woman at all. So you come off as if as a single person who bitter because, at black women. And don't got a woman your side. It just makes you look bad. And then when you turn around and co-sign, hey, black men, let's just commit racial suicide. That is insane. And that's the ultimate way to admit defeat, man. When you say, oh, okay, I give up. This is too much. Let's just commit suicide. That's what that sounds like to me. And that's just weak. That's weak. Go out swinging. Go out swinging. And spend less time talking about the black women you can't stand so much. Spend more time talking about the black women who are acceptable in your eyes. Talk about what a black woman would need to do to be acceptable to you. Okay? Give some examples if you can. Give some examples if you can. And if you can't find any examples, then talk about the mythological black woman that you wish would come into existence, that you could marry. Because if you really done with black women, you don't want to, then stop talking about them. Stop talking about them. Go talk about other women. And if you really got a different racial woman, again, you wouldn't be sitting around talking to black women. It just makes you look bad. Fellas, you'll come off as more productive and intelligent, more like a leader, if you're not just bitching like a woman yourself. Got to be real careful not to sound like and come off and let your female tendencies come out. When you sitting, I can't stand them. They love white men so much. Oh, they love white men. They don't love me. They hate me because I'm black. That's the end of your video. Oh, I'm back. Look at this black woman. She dating a black man. She hates black men. I can't stand them. They're treasonous. That's the end of your video. And then the next video said, you sound like a little wuss. But I'm going to deal with more of that on another video. Fellas, you got to evolve. You can't be stuck behaving like the same women you're complaining about all the time. But I wanted just to interject some positivity and break down how to be proud of your history and heritage without being offensive to other people. It's irrefutable and it can be proved using numbers and facts. Black Americans have created the most influential music in recorded history. Black Americans revolutionized music, period. When you go listen to music in all other countries, you're going to find replications of music genres created by Black Americans. Fact. There ain't nothing offensive about being proud of your influence in music. If you're offended by people talking about their influence in music, it's because you are severely, critically, dangerously insecure. And that's a problem that you got, not me. Okay? Talk about how you're thankful that you come from a lineage of bankers. There are plenty other advantages other people can talk about outside of music. Okay? If you really just are that insecure. That's my contribution to Thanksgiving Day. Yeah? I'm sure y'all could have guessed that. I'm sorry. Do we need mod action? Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. Is that Reef? Okay. Yeah. I got him. Not a problem. I'm sorry about that. Okay. BK boy, and I'll make you. At least I know you're not going to be spamming or anything. Okay. What is this? Okay, wait a minute here. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, boom. There you go. I got at least one mod now. Shout out to BK Born. And shout out to everybody able to join me. And I will see you on the next, hopefully.